I recently restored this Webster Chicago Model 81 wire recorder that had a number of issues. How, you may be asking? Well, I'll explain that in the video. I hope you enjoy hearing about this machine as much as I enjoyed working on it.
Cool, but I wish you well, sweetheart, and all you do.
When I first got the wire recorder, it seemed to be in very good condition, minus a few scruffs. I also got the Sam's Photo Fact and a box full of wires to go along with the machine. Opening up the lid of the machine, I found this, an old bottle of evaporated head cleaner. The machine checked out. It seemed to be in good cosmetic condition, and I was told that it partially worked. However, I had to first find an electrical plug, line cord, to power up the machine. Spending a sufficient amount of time at Home Depot looking for a line cord for this machine, it was my turn to power it up. I saw no problem in doing this as the previous owner had already powered up the machine multiple times. Upon powering up the machine, the tick-up spindle seemed to move perfectly. However, I was not hearing any audio. Not even the usual 120 cycle hum that is associated with dying filter capacitors. This worried me. So, I decided to flip the machine over and check the tubes first. Right off the bat, I noticed that my preamplifier tube was missing. So, I decided to open up the machine and do a recap and replace the preamplifier tube. I also decided to check resistors and other components. I believe the missing preamplifier tube to be one of the main culprits in my audio problem. However, I wasn't about to power up the machine again without doing a complete recap, checking the resistors, and cleaning the potentiometers. All the capacitors in this machine appear to be original, and many of them were mismarked on the Sam's PhotoFax schematic. Most noticeably, the large paper and oil can capacitor that was marked as 1.73 microfarads at 220 VAC, when it was actually 1.0 microfarads at 220 VDC. After eyeing the chassis, I went on to cleaning the potentiometers with some deoxit. Little did I know, but I was in for a nasty surprise. The potentiometers were coated with cadmium oxide, which meant that I had to wear a mask when I sprayed them. I also cleaned out the unit and removed all the cobwebs and dead spiders. When I was cleaning out the cobwebs, I found this piece of paper dangling from one of them. After cleaning the pots and chassis, I decided to test the resistors to see if any of them had drifted too far off their original value. Most of them tested alright, and they all seemed to be within tolerance, so I left them as is. After this, I did a recap on the unit and replaced all the capacitors. I also ordered a new 6SJ7 preamplifier tube and tested all the tubes with my Hickok 533 tube tester. All tested good. Doing a recap, I decided to give the unit a test. I thought that the transport would need work, but I thought that I could at least test my electronic work in the head. First off, I would like to state that these are not my pictures. However, they work well for this segment. As you probably noticed in the video, the head beller mechanism was not moving evenly. In fact, it wasn't moving at all. So, I took some denatured alcohol and cleaned off all the old grease and applied new white lithium grease. This was especially important to do with the cam and worm gear. As you can probably see by that video, the head beller mechanism was now moving up properly, but it wasn't moving back down at the right rate. Well, the issue here was a tension spring. There's a stretch tension spring, and it was causing the head beller mechanism to not be able to move down evenly. I went to Ace Hardware and I found spring number 78 in their spring book, and it was a perfect fix. I just put it right where the old spring used to be, fixed the issue perfectly.
But I
Now,
wish you
this is how it
well,
runs.
sweetheart, and all you do.